Hello, everyone. My name is Emily, and today I'm going to be talking about the novelty effect. So, what is the novelty effect? It is when in research, individuals act differently because there are new and different aspects being introduced. And so, how can we use this novelty effect to enhance our studying ability? We can do things such as finding new study locations using different highlighters, pens, post-it notes, or other identifiers, and even using different timing techniques such as the Pomodoro timer to induce positive study habits. So some research done by Bjork and Bjork found that when learning occurs in constrained and predictable conditions, it tends to become contextualized. So how can we vary these conditions of practice to enhance the recall later on? Again, you can change your location, your study questions, and studying habits or study types. So what are some related theories? The Hawthorne effect, which some people may have heard of, is when people act differently in research because they know their actions are being watched or measured. So, in order to capitalize on this for studying, you can text a friend telling them when you're starting or ending your study session or a specific project. Additionally, you can post a studygram with a checklist of things that you need to do for the day and update as you go along. Additionally, utilizing pockets of time is vital because you can use these smaller portions of time to chip away at tasks and therefore having less to do later on. And this was researched by Lee in 2015. So pockets of time include time that you would be waiting in line for food, you could be reading or reviewing your notes in between classes. So how have I applied this to enhance my own study habits? I have started using different study techniques, such as reading techniques in which I start to form questions to answer as I'm reading certain research papers. Additionally, I've taken up using Notion, check off tasks, and take my notes for classes. And the aesthetics of Notion, along with the satisfaction of being able to check off my tasks, have made it easier for me to feel accomplished when I'm studying. Additionally, I've started using self-timers such as the Pomodoro timer, using a 50 to 10-minute interval of study to break. And after those 50 minutes, I'm able to take a brain break, get up, stretch, move around, and reset in those 10 minutes. I've also realized that I don't study as well at home because there are a lot of distractors. And so therefore, I found different coffee shops and outdoor views to go study at, which has made it a little bit easier to come back to studying. And then finally, I've been utilizing study calls in which my friends and I do our independent work, but we call each other to ensure that we're both staying on task. So, what have I seen from these new study habits? I've actually reduced my burnout. So, the change in scenery and location makes studying feel a little less repetitive and not that I'm studying the same thing over and over day in, day out. Additionally, it's improved my endurance for studying. So the Pomodoro timer acts as a visual representation of how much time I have left until I have a break, making it a little bit easier to go, okay, I only have 10 more minutes of studying before I get a break. And then finally, motivation. Working with friends and utilizing Notion's checklists have made it a little bit easier to feel accomplished when managing large tasks, and so it has encouraged me to continue being productive. So some setbacks that I've faced is finding it a little bit difficult to maintain. Even though these study habits are great, it does take a little bit of effort to see what new things I want to do. And so sometimes I fall back into old study habits. Additionally, finding new places to work at is a little time consuming. And the last thing being time consuming, whether it's changing locations or adjusting to these new habits. So, in order to adjust for that, I have given myself ample time to use these study methods and see if it works for me, cycling through them to maintain the novelty of it. I've also asked friends and other people how they study and what locations work best for them. And then finally, for the time consuming aspect, I'm adjusting the time estimated to complete a task and making sure that I am not overworking myself. These are the works that I use to find my information, and thank you so much for listening.